1936. Cardinal Jorge Mario Bergoglio became Pope Francis I on March 13, 2013. When named the Pope of the Roman Catholic Church, he was 76 years old. The first Pope from the Americas chose his papal name in honor of St. Francis of Assisi of Italy, a Christ-like man known for his simplicity and love of the poor and his desire to reform the Church. One of 5 children, Bergoglio's family was middle class, his parents Italian immigrants.
Francis's upbringing was a simple one, the son of a railway worker and one of 5 children. And as a teenager, he suffered a major health crisis, having one of his lungs removed after a serious infection. He would become a chemist by trade turned Jesuit priest. In his ministry, he's known primarily for his work with Argentina's poor. He also passed on residing in the Archbishop's ornate palace, choosing instead to live in a small apartment outside Buenos Aires and cooking his own meals, while regularly riding the bus or his bicycle instead of the limousine at his disposal. He is the first Jesuit pope and the first pope from Latin America, home to nearly 40% of the world's Catholics.
Following his high school graduation, Bergoglio enrolled at the University of Buenos Aires, where he received a master's degree in chemistry. After graduating from college, he entered the seminary of Villa Devoto, and in 1958 he entered the Society of Jesus, the Jesuits. Later he studied at the Philosophical and Theological Faculty of San Miguel, where he earned an advanced degree in philosophy. In the following years, he traveled to Freiburg, Germany, where he received a doctorate in sacred theology. Throughout his academic career, Bergoglio taught chemistry, literature, psychology, philosophy, and theology. Jorge Bergoglio was ordained to the priesthood in 1969, and only 4 years later was appointed the Jesuit provincial for all of Argentina. At this time, a civil war was raging in Argentina, the so-called Dirty War, in which over 30,000 people disappeared and or were murdered, including some Jesuit priests. Bergoglio has been criticized by not a few who say he failed to stand up to Argentina's military dictatorships, even when the families of victims brought him first-hand accounts of kidnappings, torture, and death, a charge he has always denied. Led by Bergoglio, the bishops of Argentina published an apology in October 2011 in which they acknowledged that the Church had not protected its faithful. The statement blamed both the opposition leftists as well as the ruling military junta for the killings. Cardinal Bergoglio has his defenders who say that he took risks behind the scenes, including visiting the home of dictator Jorge Videla to say Mass and to appeal for mercy. The new Pope's supporters say he worked on a regular basis and at some danger to himself to curb the excesses of the military junta. A few years later, he returned to his alma mater in San Miguel, where he taught theology and served as rector for 7 years. In 1992, Bergoglio was appointed auxiliary bishop of Buenos Aires, and 6 years later he became archbishop there. 3 years later, Pope John Paul II gave Archbishop Bergoglio the red hat, that is, he became a cardinal. He served as president of the Bishops' Conference in Argentina for 6 years. As bishop, Bergoglio often rode the bus to work, lived in a small apartment instead of the stately mansion he could have inhabited, cooked his own meals, and regularly visited and spent much time in the slums that ring Argentina's capital. He has always considered social outreach, not doctrinal purity, to be the essential concern of the Church. Not long ago, he accused fellow church leaders of hypocrisy, charging that too many have forgotten that Jesus Christ bathed lepers and ate with prostitutes. Just last year, he told his priests, quote, "Jesus teaches us another way. Go out. Go out and share your testimony. Go out and interact with your brothers and sisters. Go out and share. Go out and ask. Become the Word in body as well as in spirit." Unquote. The cardinal also had some harsh words for priests who refused to baptize babies born out of wedlock. He said, quote, "Here in Argentina, there are priests who don't baptize the children of single mothers because they weren't conceived in the sanctity of marriage." These priests are today's hypocrites, those who clericalize the church, those who separate the people of God from salvation. And so some poor girl who, rather than having an abortion, had the courage to bring her baby into the world, must wander from parish to parish so that it is baptized. Early into his priesthood and teaching career, Bergoglio earned the reputation of being very theologically conservative. In spite of Cardinal Bergoglio's vigorous opposition, a same-sex marriage bill was approved by Argentinian lawmakers in 2010, the first in Latin America. Some, and maybe many American Catholics, may wish that this new papacy will reopen subjects that have been taboo in the Church: the ordination of women priests, married priests, divorce, homosexuality. This wish appears to be highly unrealistic. When Pope John Paul II died in April 2005, Cardinal Bergoglio is said to have received the second most votes in the 2005 papal conclave. But when Pope Benedict XVI resigned in February 2013, Bergoglio was named the 266th Pope of the Roman Catholic Church. Cardinal Jorge Mario Bergoglio, Pope Francis, became the first from the Americas, the first non-European, the first Jesuit to be named a pope. Let us continue to pray for him, that he continued to be a man of the people and of the poor, a Christ-like good shepherd, a courageous and prophetic leader, strong and firm, but also humble and compassionate.
Francis asked first for a prayer for himself.
Facciamo in silenzio
Let us pray
questa
silently
preghiera de voi
in this prayer
su di
for
me.
me.
And then, for all the rest.
Sempre per noi,
Let's
l'uno per
pray
l'altro.
always for each other.
Preghiamo per tutto il mondo,
Let's pray for the whole world.
perché ci sia una grande fratellanza.
May there be a great brotherhood.